Hello, good day. Are you ready for adventure? As I dive in the historical spots here in General Trias, Cavite, the Tejeros Convention site that has rich history and unique story that shapes our Philippine history. So welcome to Casa de Hacienda Tejeros, where Tejeros Convention site happened, also known as the Tejeros Assembly. It held on March 22, 1897. A meeting took in San Francisco de Malabon, Cavite, which is known as General Trias between Katipunan factions Magdalo and Magdiwang. They discussed defending Cavite from the Spanish and to elect new leadership. The meeting resulted in the establishment of a new revolutionary government led by General Emilio Aguinaldo, replacing the Katipunan. The venue. The convention took place in a building used for various purposes, including as a tribunal and friar estate house during the Spanish period. Historical significance of the Tejeros Assembly. Birthplace of the Philippine Revolutionary Government. It marked the establishment of the first revolutionary government in the Philippines, with Emilio Aguinaldo elected as its president. Next is site of political conflict. The convention highlighted the internal conflicts within the Katipunan disagreements, aroused over leadership and the structure of the revolutionary movement. Next is controversy in the leadership election. Andres Bonifacio, the founder of Katipunan, presided over the meeting but lost the presidency to Aguinaldo. He contested the result and declared the proceedings invalid. In the main building, we see a sculpture of some of the members of the two factions. The sculpture inside the Tejeros Convention site primarily depict the notable figures involved in the historic assembly. The different sculpture or diorama within the site are the following who is involved in the assembly. First is Pascual Alvarez. Pascual Alvarez was among the Magdiwang representatives who attended the Tejeros Convention. He was involved in the debates and discussion that occurred between the Magdalo and the Magdiwang faction. His role in the event is he supported the Magdiwang's perspective on leadership and governance. Next is Artemio Ricarte. Artemio Ricarte was elected as a Captain General of the newly established revolutionary government. This position placed him in charge of the revolutionary military force. His role as a unifying figure and a staunch defender of the revolution. Next is Mariano Alvarez, leader of the Magdiwang faction, a revolutionary government in Cavite aligned with the Katipunan, also known as Capitan Mariano. He is also the defender of Bonifacio in the conflict. He organized and led numerous revolutionary activities against Spanish forces in Cavite, earning the respect of fellow revolutionaries. Next is Emilio Aguinaldo, also known as General Mio, the first president of the Philippines. Aguinaldo was the head of the Magdalo faction of the Katipunan, which was active in Cavite. He led several successful battles against Spanish forces, including the victories in Imus and Binakayan, which boosted his prominence. Aguinaldo defeated Andres Bonifacio, the founder of the Katipunan, in the vote for the presidency. His election marked a shift in leadership from Bonifacio to a new revolutionary government. On June 12, 1898, Aguinaldo proclaimed Philippine independence from Spanish rule in Kawit, Cavite. This declaration marked a historic moment with the unfurling of the Philippine flag and the playing of the national anthem. And here's another trivia. Aguinaldo was not there in the first part of the Tejeros. Despite his absence, still he was elected as a president. Next is Mariano Trias. Mariano Trias was elected as a vice president of the revolutionary government. His election represented a step toward consolidating leadership amidst the rivalry between the Magdalo and Magdiwang faction. Trias was a unifying figure during the heated debates at the Tejeros Convention. His presence and election as vice president highlighted the attempt to balance representation from both factions. Next is Severino de las Alas, was a close advisor to Emilio Aguinaldo and supported his vision of a centralized revolutionary government. He played a key role in unifying and organizing revolutionary efforts in Cavite. De las Alas was elected as Director of Justice in the newly formed revolutionary government. His election underscored his reputation as a fair and principled leader. Next is Baldomero Aguinaldo, ally and cousin of Emilio Aguinaldo. Baldomero Aguinaldo was elected as Director of War in the revolutionary government. This position highlighted his significant contribution to military strategy and planning. Baldomero participated in several key battles during the revolution, demonstrating his leadership and commitment to the cause. Next is Gat Andres Bonifacio, also known as Supremo or Supreme Leader of the Katipunan. Bonifacio is often called the father of the Philippine Revolution for his role in starting the movement for independence. Founder of Katipunan, leader of the Philippine Revolution, and the champion of independence, the founding father of the Katipunan. In 1892, Bonifacio founded the Katipunan or the KKK, the kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, a secret society dedicated to overthrowing Spanish colonial rule. The Katipunan's goal were to establish a free and independent Philippines through armed revolution. Bonifacio, who had been the leader of the revolution, did not recognize the legitimacy of the proceedings at the convention. At the convention, Emilio Aguinaldo was elected as president and Bonifacio was elected as director of the interior. However, Bonifacio contested the election, claiming that the process was not fair and that he had been unjustified sidelined. Next is General Riego de Dios, military leader, revolutionary officer, and one of the key members of the Magdala faction of the Katipunan. At the convention, he held the position of Director of War in the newly formed revolutionary government, underscoring his importance within the military structure of the revolution. Riego de Dios was one of those who supported Emilio Aguinaldo in his election as president. Though there were tensions, particularly with Andres Bonifacio, the Katipunan's founder, was not in agreement with the results. In this area, we see the different mayor of Rosario Cavite that start in 1902. Here are some of the notable mayor of Cavite. First is Thomas F. R. Pimentel, Juan M. de la Cruz, Francisco C. Jarro, Thomas B. Riego de Dios, Felipe N. Mendez, Pedro F. Guevara, Emiliano R. Fanganiban. Up there we see the picture of the Tejeros Assembly with the two factions having a debate. Next is the portrait of Josephine L. Bracken, Josephine Bracken was a Filipino-Irish woman who is most notably known as the common-law wife of Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. Though not directly involved in the Tejeros Convention, Josephine Bracken is often included in historical exhibitions related to the Philippine Revolution and is a key figure due to her relationship with Jose Rizal and her role in the revolutionary period. Her portrait at the Tejeros Convention site serves to recognize her as a notable figure of the revolutionary period and to showcase the broader personal histories of those who supported the cause of independence, even if they were not directly involved in military affairs like those present. The memento on the wall of the Tejeros Convention site refers to the historical markers, inscriptions, and artifacts that are part of the site's collection to commemorate significant events that occurred during the Tejeros Convention and the Philippine Revolution. These mementos serve as reminders of the pivotal moments in Philippine history and the key figures who contributed to the country's fight for independence. Lastly is the tunnel at the convention site. These tunnels serve as escape routes. The tunnel likely served as an escape route for revolutionary leaders during times of crisis. It would have allowed them to leave the area quickly if the Spanish forces or rival factions threatened their safety. Next is secret communication. The tunnel might have been used for secret communication between the leaders or to move important documents and messages surely. Next is protection. During the Tejeros Convention, the tension between the Magdalo and Magdiwang faction of the Katipunan were high. The tunnel could have been used to provide protection for key figures like Emilio Aguinaldo and Andres Bonifacio.